In clubs, I sold more tickets than any other comic in America. And then for, name them, I beat them. So now I got like 3.8 million or something like on TikTok.
Damn.
I did 17 shows in 1 week in Chicago and broke the record.
Damn.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I'm just glad that like I get to show that I'm gifted in that way. You know what I mean?
I may have found one of the biggest braggers in all of comedy, which is tough when you already have some pretty big comics who are known to show off. But this guy really likes to talk about his achievements. So Nate Jackson is a comic who's been around for a while, but only in the last couple of years he's been blowing up on TikTok. He's definitely a talented guy. Now, recently he was on Matt and Shane's secret podcast, and there were some interesting moments which I could only describe as cringy and kind of unbearable, if I'm being honest, because this guy definitely doesn't shy away from talking highly about himself. And although it's important to self-promote, there's definitely a line where it quickly becomes insufferable. And that's exactly what happened here. So, side note, does anyone see this guy kind of looks like someone else? I can't put my finger on it. Anyway, so about an hour into the episode, Matt asks him about his dating life, and Nate is describing how hard it is to not only date while being on the road all the time, but dating while being famous, which then turns into a complaint session about being famous.
I own the biggest black-owned comedy club in America.
I did see
Tacoma,
that.
Washington. It's called Nate Jackson Super Funny Comedy Club.
Sure.
Okay, I did Wildin' Out and a bunch of stuff like that. A friend of mine told me to get on TikTok because he was having success on there, and then shit went crazy, and so now I got like 3.8 million or something like on TikTok.
Damn.
And so my road manager was telling me the other day, he was like, "Dude, that's like 1 in every 97 Americans are following you."
Oh,
right?
fuck. Yeah.
So dating has changed.
Yeah.
Because if they don't know who I am, somebody's like, "Oh my God, bitch."
I've seen him on TikTok.
Or a waiter's like, "Sir,
Yeah.
can we get a selfie?"
Yeah.
Like, and so then it affects the dynamic of just
When
getting
you're
to know
dating
somebody.
and that happens, it's the best. Because then a girl's like,
Is it
they like
though?
that.
What's funny is Matt is like, yeah, it must be awesome, right? You know, usually if someone becomes wealthier and famous, you'd think this guy would have a better dating life. But no, sadly for Nate, it's actually really difficult. He mentions that girls actually don't want to sleep with him. Man, I can't imagine what could put females off this guy. Like, what woman wouldn't want to listen to Nate talk about how famous he is?
I'm not even a celebrity like that, but
You might be married. I think you're still Ray material.
I do
dude.
get I do get stopped though in real life. Like
Well, how hard?
exiting the Austin airport just now. Like, you know how you go at that last checkpoint? They're like, if you go past there, you can't come back in. Where there's 2 ladies sitting right there. And one was like, "Shut the fuck up." You know what I'm saying? "Let's get a picture, sugar." So we took a picture and everything. And she's like, "We are fans." So
That's cool.
Yeah, but like, how do you date? If I'm on a date and that lady walks by, "Shut the fuck up."
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, I'm like,
Man, did you get that little growl? He's so angry that he can't go through an airport without someone asking for a picture. It must be hard for this guy being so famous. Then he talks about dating on Tinder, which didn't go too well because, and I'm paraphrasing here, there were too many people on Tinder that were using profile pictures taken at his comedy show.
I tried to do Tinder, I think it was. And so where I'm from, my show, it was a show before it was a club, Super Funny Comedy Show. And we had this backdrop or like, we had a photographer, Scott Payton took immaculate pictures and he did it for like 4 years. So you could like just get dressed up as possible and at the end of the show be like, "Scott," and he would just literally be taking headshots of people. He was that good.
Yeah.
So when I got on the dating site, like 99.6% of the bitches, okay,
Hey, you saw it.
were Scott Payton pictures. It's like from my show. You know what I mean? You can just reckon, you know what I mean? So I was like, I can't get on the app. Everybody's literally taking pictures for my show.
Yeah. I mean, I was a pig. I had no problem just utilizing that to my advantage.
But they wouldn't pick me. I don't know what it was. I'd be on, like, they would assume because I'm the guy that has the show and the star of the show or whatever, that I'm slaying.
Okay, so he just couldn't find anyone that wasn't using a profile picture that was taken at his Super Funny Comedy Show because his show was just so big that everyone near his location on Tinder already knew him from his Super Funny Comedy Show. But also the girls on there still wouldn't pick him because they thought he would be way too famous for them, which sounds totally logical. We all know that's a huge problem with a lot of famous guys. I feel like like Shane would have called this out. You could tell at this point Matt was just coasting. But anyways, it turns out his friends would have no problem using his names to get girls.
I had a homeboy, I'm not even gonna say his name because I think he's about to get married. But anyway, he was like, I just saw him on the road in Greensboro and he was like, dude, I used to slay off saying I know you. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, we'd be like, you want to meet Nate? I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah, like if they kind of liked us, like we would say that and it was a wrap.
Yeah.
He's so famous that his friends would do great with the ladies because they could use his name because he's so famous. This all sounds like complete bullshit. I don't know how Matt is sitting there with a straight face, but let's keep going. Things actually get a little sad as he starts talking about his new pet peeve.
It's not like to the point where I feel like cursed by it or nothing, but I could see where it's like,
Yeah, I just let it rip, man.
this is my new pet peeve. I'll just share it. It may not even fit where we're at in the conversation, but this is my new pet peeve.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm with friends, or really it's my own like road, like my openers or videographer or road manager, somebody will like not know who we are. Like, why do I recognize him? And they're like, you don't know who that is?
Oh, yeah.
You don't know who that is? Oh my God, we are on tour. That's the
so
Nate
annoying.
and I'm like, I was just trying to fucking eat some sandwiches.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. I was cool. I was flying under the radar for just a second.
Yeah, which is
I know
nice.
they do it because they're proud of their role, like what we do together. You know what I mean? Because we're building a thing, and there's such inclusivity and you know,
Well,
we're really building a thing, and so I know they're proud of it. But I'm like, but just let me just
Yeah, dude, I don't want to talk about it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Which is weird because I rarely even wear this jacket.
That
But here I
jacket's
am like,
sick,
I don't
dude.
even want to be who I am. Like, but I really, you know what I'm saying?
Wow, so even his crew brags about him in public. It's hard to believe he doesn't want to be recognized when he's literally walking around with his fucking name and branding on his jacket. I'm actually starting to wonder if he tells his crew to remind people in public on how famous he is. Now moving on, at this point in the conversation, Nate Jackson is on a roll with the stories and he has even crazier ones to tell.
Some people are like, dude, I got your stuff on autoplay on my TV. I don't even watch TV anymore. Or I got like the amount of connection
Yeah.
is nuts. Like, I got out of a Uber 2 hours before my show where my assistant and merch manager was late and I had to bring in a crate. And this husband pulled up with his wife. They were looking for parking at that moment. The wife jumped out the car. Nate! Runs around the front of the car and beeline straight to me. I'm like, shit. And I drop the thing and I just book it, right? And she chases me and there's like this light post. I grab the light post and do like, you know how you can spin around and I do that and I
Yeah.
ricochet back the other way. Her husband gets out the car. He's like, she's a fan. She loves you, bro. And I'm like, yeah, I get all that. Well, fuck that. Like I'm playing now.
Yeah, you're fucking
But
right,
she's
yeah.
like, all right, can we just get a picture? I'm like, come on.
Yeah, that's always awkward.
And the
This-
husband's like, yeah, say cheat. Like while the love of his life is like,
dude.
so I don't know how in the hell I'm gonna date. You got lucky. You
Yeah.
got in there beforehand and all that, but I don't know. You know, and I never thought this was one. This was, you know, this is an offshoot of what.
What I was asking you, yeah.
No, I'm saying of fame. Like I wanted, like this was always I was like, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get after it. And now
Yeah.
it's like, God damn, I can't find a woman that just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
they say
you'll find
or
someone.
they'll say, hopefully, but like,
Well, they'll burn out on
I
the
want to
novelty.
meet you. I'm like, you are meeting me. No, but like the you that's not like this separate from the comment.
They'll
I'm like,
say that?
Now, I know comedians tend to glow up their stories for entertainment, but usually those stories wouldn't be about how famous you are. If anything, they tend to be more self-deprecating. The ending of this podcast was a little awkward, and this guy didn't disappoint in the self-promotion.
Do I tell them where to find me and stuff?
Yeah, dude. Plug all your
Okay,
shit.
so Mr. Nate Jackson on Instagram and TikTok, and Nate Jackson Comedy on YouTube. And so on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, we release 2 clips a day of stand-up or crowd work or whatever, but 2 clips a day. Something will tickle your fancy. And then once a month at my club, I do an 8-camera shoot called the Crowd Work Joint, where I only do crowd work for an hour. It started off, it was just a challenge.
That's awesome.
Well, now there's like 14 of them. I've been doing them all year long, and they cumulatively have like 15 million views or something.
Fuck.
Like they're going psycho.
Well, dude, that's how whenever people like hear someone, I always just pop up the Instagram, watch the first clip, and I watch yours. I'm like, damn, that's hilarious. And I was like, yeah, right away.
Thank
I always
you.
do that. I'm like, hilarious.
Thank you. But I mean, I'm just glad that like I get to show that I'm gifted in that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like you can go viral for anything you put online, essentially. And I'm glad I'm not just like online every week wearing a wig or something.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
so glad it's
they're
for
very
stand-up.
funny. They're very fucking funny.
Thank you. But yeah, so on YouTube is where that experience is. So, and I'm on tour right now. It's called the Super Funny World Tour, and I'm rolling, and it's going really good. So for 2023 in clubs, I sold more tickets than any other comic in America. And then for name them, I beat them.
Damn.
I did 17 shows in 1 week in Chicago and broke the record.
Damn.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
It's no doubt really impressive that Nate Jackson has sold more tickets in comedy clubs than any other comic in America. That's a great achievement, but I thought it was a little odd to brag about it because most established comics do theaters, and obviously the really big ones do arenas. If you're not listening properly, you could mistakenly think that he's sold more tickets than any other comedian in the US, but he's just talking comedy clubs. God help him when he becomes more successful, because being humble really isn't his style, and bragging tends to work against you in the long run. I will say, I doubt he sees this stuff as bragging. He likely feels like he's just being a little aggressive with self-promotion. To me, it just feels awkward if you have to boast about your career. It's okay to talk about your achievements, but there's definitely a limit. After a while, it's a little uncomfortable to listen to. You could tell Matt wasn't enjoying this that much. Two comedians on a podcast should be joking around about everything, but this guy spent half the episode bragging about his career. It's not exactly fun to listen to, even if it's 100% true. He's already doing pretty well. He has a huge following on social and on YouTube. Maybe deep down he's kind of insecure and feels he has to overcompensate. Even looking at the name of his tour, it's called the Super Funny World Tour. When you see World Tour, it's impressive, but then you look at the dates and they're all in the US, with one in Canada. This could have been a much better podcast if he would have just came in there and tried to have good banter with Matt, then drew more fans who liked his personality and sense of humor. Instead, he basically used half the podcast to bring up stats on how well he's doing. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed this, hit the like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one.